Here we see a lovely lady. A lady torn between herself and reality. This lady Fleshwood is stuck in a world of her own, but the world is stuck in quarantine. With the ability to draw, she has entered a new dimension, the quarantine zone.
Hello art friends, my name is Fleshwood and today I have another Drawing Your Creepypasta OCs video for you. Sorry, it's been a while since my last video. It's not something I really want to get into on this video, but I will have a video coming out explaining what happened and where I've been. But yeah, for this video, sit back, grab some popcorn, because you're in for a real treat. Stay tuned until the end of the video to learn how to submit your OC. Also, I forgot to mention, thank you guys for 70,000 subscribers. That's insane. Just in case you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It really means a lot to me, and I'd like to reach 100,000 by my birthday next year, which, you know, I think we can do it. If you, so if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Okay, on to the video. Our first OC was submitted by Gabriella Canadian and is titled Halloween Party. Halloween is supposed to be all fun and candy, right? Well, why did mine end with blood and guts? It's 2 weeks before the big Halloween party my school is hosting. I wanted to ask my crush, Max, out many times, but this time I managed to gather enough courage to ask her to the Halloween party. Hey Max? I ask, as Max was walking out of the building. Hi Samantha, is there anything you need? Actually, yes. Would you be willing to be my date to the Halloween party? I ask. 1 week before the Halloween party. I can't believe she said yes. I can't wait. I hope nothing goes wrong. Nothing could go wrong. 1 day before the party, I was getting my costume for tomorrow. The only thing going through my mind was, it's going to be perfect. Nothing could go wrong. What could go wrong? Nothing. I will make sure of it, no matter what. Day of the party. I was waiting for Max to arrive outside the school until... Wait, is that Max? I raised my hand to wave, but I was stopped dead in my tracks. No, she was with someone, kissing them. I immediately ran inside the school. How could she do this to me? She will pay. She will. I reached in my pocket and grabbed my pocket knife. I glanced inside the gym where the dance was hosted. I saw Max and that boy she was with. I felt me lose control of myself as I was walking in the gym. Oh, hey Sam, I didn't think you... was all she could muster out as I stabbed her stomach. She screamed as blood poured out of her, causing everyone to look over at us. I had a sweet little smile on my face as I pulled my knife out of her wound. I stared dead at her as she fell to the floor. She was still alive, so I stabbed her back where her heart would be. I pulled my knife out of her back and stared dead at the boy she was making out with earlier. Now as for you, I mumble. I smiled wider than before as I stabbed his neck. He let out a blood-curdling scream as I continued to stab his chest. Some people tried to apprehend me, but I managed to push them off. I ran out of the school and went straight to the woods. Nothing could go wrong. Our next OC was submitted by Tomby Wolf and is titled, I Don't Know Her. A couple of weeks ago, my best friend Allison went missing. I've been looking for her ever since the day she disappeared. I was so focused on finding her that I didn't bother to do any homework or projects. With my lack of work done, my teacher told my parents, and the result of that is them making me take a break on finding her. But I couldn't. I know I'm close to finding her. I can feel it. I told them, but they wouldn't let me pick up where I had left off. I was so frustrated, but I knew there was no win. I stormed off to my room while slamming the door behind. I looked to my right to see all of my pictures of me and her hanging on the wall, and as I stared at it more, I began to cry. "Where are you?" I said. A couple days later, I was asleep in bed. I heard knocking on the door. I first looked through the peephole and saw Allison. When I saw her, I was so surprised, confused, and happy. She was finally back. I hurried and opened the door and gave her a hug. She didn't hug back or say anything. I stopped hugging her and started crying, but through the tears, I could see her face. And it looked so emotionless, but I didn't suspect anything because I didn't care. I was just happy she was back. The next day, my dad came home with a dog. I would have been more excited if I wasn't so focused on Allison. She was at the police station, and when I last called her mother, she said that Allison wouldn't say anything about where she has been. This is really concerning because Allison is a talkative person, but my parents convinced me that I need to stop worrying about Allison because she's safe now. I decided to bond with our new German Shepherd, Leo. He's a friendly dog. I also started baking for the rest of the day to distract me from worrying about Allison. But I forgot about the cake that I was baking, and I wouldn't have taken it out on time if it wasn't for Leo. He started barking, so I went to check what the problem was and saw that my cake was finished. "I guess you sense danger, huh, Leo?" I said. He barked and started wagging his tail, and I chuckled. Halloween was finally here, and my 4-year-old sister was going trick-or-treating. As my parents started to walk out the door, they asked me if I wanted to come. "Nah, I'm 15. That's too old for trick-or-treating," I told them. "Okay, just make sure Leo gets fed. I forgot to feed him this morning," my mom said as they walked out the door. I don't understand why both my parents went to watch my sister trick-or-treat though. I guess it must be because of all the kids and pets that have been dying and going missing around my neighborhood lately. As I thought about that thought, I realized that whoever that monster is that has been killing children and animals could be the one who kidnapped my best friend. How did I not realize it earlier? I then picked up my phone to call Allison's mother and ask her if she could come over. Since she hasn't spoken much lately, I thought some bonding with her best friend will loosen her up. "Jenny, Allison is dead. That other girl isn't her. Just an imposter," her mother said. "What? But she looks just like..." She cut me off and she told me that it was an older woman that just looked like her. Then she hung up. It has to be her. It has to be Allison, I said to myself. I then heard a knock at the door and I heard my name, Jenny. It sounded like it came from an older woman. Leo started growling at the door as I walked towards it. Something told me not to open that door, so I didn't. But the knocking continued. "It's me, Allison," the person said. "Allison?" I thought to myself. I remembered what Allison's mother had told me, so I still didn't answer the door. "I know you're in there," the imposter said. Leo then stopped barking at the door and started barking at a window. Through the curtains, I could see the imposter. I could see her motionless, dead face. But I also noticed the details I hadn't the last time I'd seen her, like how her head looked much more taller and skinnier. Her eyes were a light blue that looked like she was wearing contacts, but still looked dead like... How did I not notice these details before? I then grabbed my phone and ran upstairs and hid in my closet. I forgot to grab Leo though, and I could hear his barking turn to a whimper. She had gotten inside, but I didn't hear the window break or anything. I hurried and called 911. Leo's whimper began to fade, and then I heard, 911, what is your emergency? But it was too late. I don't know how she found me so quick, but when she did, the world around me faded as I could feel a sharp pain in my heart. And as I took my last breath on Halloween night, I heard bones cracking and a low demonic laugh. I woke up sweating. I was confused for some reason. I went to the living room and saw my parents and sisters sitting on the couch. It was the afternoon. Oh, you're awake. Are you okay? Is that sweat? I told you not to sleep with that hoodie on. You never listen, my mom said. Anyways, I just wanted to know if you want to go trick-or-treating with us. She continued. No, I'm 15. That's too old for trick-or-treating, I said. Okay, just make sure Leo gets fed. I forgot to feed him this morning, my mom said as they walked out the door. Why does this feel so familiar? A couple hours later, I heard a knock on the door. Jenny, a woman said. My dog then began to growl. Something told me not to open the door. Whoever she is, I don't know her. The next creepypasta was submitted by Mary of Bears and is titled My Treat. Heads up, this one kind of hurts my heart. It's like a feels pasta. Yeah, just a heads up. My son Daniel had been so excited for Halloween last year. He'd wanted to be Shaggy and dress our Great Dane Buddy up as Scooby-Doo. He made the costumes himself and everything. Sadly, we were confined inside with a thunderstorm and his plans had been ruined. I was just as sad as he was, to be honest. I had always loved Halloween. The costumes, the candy, the occasional pranks. A perfect storm of fun. Instead, we made do with what we had. We dressed up inside, me as Daphne, and watched old Goosebumps episodes in the living room. We fell asleep on the couch, Netflix continuing to play away in the background. I woke up in a cold sweat an hour or so later at 11:30. At first, I didn't know what woke me up until I heard a sharp, loud, low noise in the darkness. Buddy was barking like a mad dog. I mumbled grumpily to myself and shuffled to the door to let him out, wondering why on earth he'd want to go outside in a storm like this. The rain on the roof sounded like drum beats, and I could barely see out of the glass backyard door. With both the darkness of the night and the water lashing it, I opened the door, but Buddy stayed put, continuing to bark as loud as he could into the night. Rain pouring onto the kitchen floor. I nudged the dog outside with my foot, but stopped as a streak of lightning lit up the backyard in a small flash. A man was standing out there in the rain. I could barely make out any features since he was standing so far away, and the moment was so short. I slammed the door shut in a panic. Another flash of lightning showed the man had moved a couple steps closer. I could see him slightly clearer. He was wearing some kind of devil mask with twisted features and huge fangs. Other than the mask, he was wearing some kind of full-body black suit, soaked and shiny in the rain. Buddy growled in protective fury as he drew closer with every bolt of lightning. I kept the door locked and ran back to the living room to grab Daniel, but he wasn't there. I had left him on the couch. Where was he? A pound from the back door gained my attention. as the man pressed his masked face against the glass, along with a gloved hand, pressing a soaked piece of paper against the window. It was waterlogged, but I could still read the message on it. "My treat," it said. The man tilted his head to look at me, and in another flash, he was gone. Buddy barked the whole rest of the night as I searched for Daniel. I looked through the whole house, then the whole neighborhood in the pouring rain. He's been missing for almost a year now. The police said he might have just run away, but I know that the man in the double mask took him. I don't know how, and I don't want to imagine why, but he must have. That man took my Daniel last Halloween. This year, I'm going to find him, and that horrible man will have one nasty trick coming to him. Our last creepypasta was submitted by 666 and is titled The Pumpkin Doll. Hi, my name is Natalie. I don't know if anyone will believe what I saw, but I swear I'm telling the truth. It was Halloween night and my friend Sabrina and I were going trick-or-treating. I wasn't going to dress up this year as I believe it was childish for a 14-year-old to trick-or-treat, but Sabrina thought otherwise. She was going as a pumpkin-themed doll. I wasn't surprised as she always loved playing with dolls, and even made her own. We were to go trick-or-treating in my neighborhood, and Mr. Carner had set up a haunted house which was supposed to be really fun. Though when I saw Sabrina, I felt my blood run cold. She stood at the door of my mother's car. I didn't notice her. She got in and gave me a smile. "Hi Natalie, happy Halloween!" The pumpkin-shaped smile, which was painted on her face, had fake blood coming out of it. Her skin was its usual pale white, which matched the dress she had worn. A Victorian dress to her knees, with a blood-stained bow and white ballet flats. I noticed her eyes were pitch black and I just thought she was wearing contacts and thought nothing of it. When we got back to my house, we saw CJ, a classic bully of mine. He picked on me for being antisocial and an outcast, but I always ignored him. I noticed he was holding a pumpkin and a carving knife in his hand. "Hey Natalie, how are you?" I didn't answer. As I walked past, I felt a cold pain in my back and screamed, "CJ, what did you do?" Sabrina ran to me and I swear her eyes were a glowing amber color. She slowly stood up and turned to CJ and ran to him, throwing him to the ground. I heard a scream and saw Sabrina standing over him with a smile, but her smile was different. Her painted pumpkin smile looked real, and as if her flesh was really rotting like a pumpkin. Her brown short hair covered her right eye as she looked to me and said, "No treats, only tricks." And that is all of the creepypasta OCs/stories that I have for you in this video. Thank you to everyone who submitted. There is so many good stories. I might just have to do like a reading stories only because I cannot draw all of them. But there's some really good ones in there. If you submitted last time, feel free to submit again. There is no theme for the next video. Well, besides the theme being Halloween, other than that, it's pretty open. If you're interested in this series and want a chance to have your creepypasta OC or story read/drawn by me, these are the rules. You must comment your story in the comment section of this video. I will not look at direct messages. They have to be posted in the comment section of this video. Your story must have a description and story in the same post. No multiple posts because those just get lost. You can comment your story multiple times as long as it fits into the theme. If you have any questions, please leave them below and I'll try to answer all the ones that I see. So yeah, please don't forget to enter. And then once again, thank you to everybody for all of the amazing stories. Hope these ones creeped you out a little bit. They sure as heck creeped me out. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next video. Bye.